This is going to be your guide for using Cursola in Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's no other way of putting it, this Pokemon got shafted by Game Freak, because we look at these stats, and we compare them to Cursola, and what happened? So we have the same amount of hit points, which means we don't really get too much benefit. We have less defense, much less defense. We have an unusable defense, and then we did get a little more special defense, but we lose our Eviolite, which has made Cursola into a meme. That there really isn't a reason to run this Pokemon over the Cursola, except for its massive special attack, but if we don't survive hits, then what's the point? Also, the abilities are bad and neat, but bad in most applicable ways. So we have weak armor. If a physical attack hits this Pokemon, defense is lowered by 1, speed is raised by 2. We have no speed, so what's the point? And we have no defense, so if we survive a physical hit, now we're going to die to the next one, and then we make our pitiful speed still pitiful. That's not good for tanking when we're looking at a bulky, or hopefully a bulky, special attacking Pokemon, and then we have Perish Body. Perish Body is one of the coolest abilities ever introduced in Pokemon. It's creative and it expands upon niche existing strategy. That yeah, Perish Song, Perish Trapping, very powerful, gets used from time to time. It's definitely a viable strategy, but giving other accessibilities to it is really neat. So Perish Body, when hit by a contact move, Pokemon and the attacker faint in 3 turns, that is super awesome. I love that Game Freak had an idea like this, similar to Orbeetle. Gmax Gravitas sets gravity on an offensive move. That's really cool, but I wish that Game Freak actually didn't remove gravity as a tutor move, so less Pokemon get gravity, which restricts access to this pretty cool strategy, and then it's locked behind a Gmax, so you have to use your only Dynamax. It has to be a special Orbeetle to then get all of this going. So I like the idea, but the execution was kind of flawed on the Orbeetle, even though we could have seen a lot more gravity usage, because that's definitely viable, much like we could have seen more Perish usage, because that is definitely viable as well. However, we have some problems with this on the Cursola. Contact moves are primarily physical. Cursola has no defense, so you get blown up to set a Perish Body and then the opponent can switch out. That's not, you don't sacrifice a Pokemon to accomplish nothing like that. It doesn't really get anything done, and also it kind of goes against the Pokemon, because look at this special attack. You want to nuke fools with this 145 special attack, but you just can't, because like, okay, you hit them, you do a lot of damage, you take a hit, and then Perish Song happens. So, you KO them, and now you have your own Perish count going down? That doesn't make it much sense. That's not really that good. And then new Pokemon comes in, I guess, to like hit Perish Body again, but you don't have the defense to stay around like that, and then you have to switch out eventually, so it doesn't really work for adding into Perish. It just kind of exists. And another thing about Perish Body is that it does not act like Perish Song. So that's a good thing in that if you use Perish Song, it also means your ally is going to faint, but it also gets both of the opponent's Pokemon. It creates a really weird dynamic on the battlefield. That's why you have some kind of trapping ability on one of your Pokemon, and then you just try to stall it out. With this, it's also reliant that the opponent hits you. So you need both of your opponents to hit you with a physical contact move, one of them not KOing you, the other one I guess KOing you, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So you can set Perish on them, you're knocked out anyways, and then they're trapped in, and your Pokemon that is trapping doesn't have to worry about switching or anything because it's not affected by Perish. It's a weird interaction, so I guess the only thing you can go for is Ally Switch, but Cursola doesn't get it. How sick would that be if Cursola was just all-in-one? You know, you put out a Pokemon, maybe it's going to get double focus because it's like a super weird threat, and then you Ally Switch. And then those physical attacks, you eat them, hopefully they both make contact. In doubles, you're going to find Earthquake, you're going to find Rock Slide. Those don't make contact. You even have things like Dragon Darts, doesn't make contact. Special moves, that's not even going to activate it. So it's kind of awkward. So, I mean, you need an ally that should be doing offensive pressure, or maybe, I guess, stalling. And then you Ally Switch, and then shenanigans, and then hope that Cursola eats the hits, and then you, like, Focus Sash, and that's kind of it. But since you're going for that Perish Body, again, the offenses are kind of weird. So you need to nuke the special attacker with a special attack, because Cursola can still attack at least. So it's going to look something like that, and I guess that has a weird kind of usage behind it. So you need to bring a Pokemon that can set Trick Room, that way Cursola has a lot of damage threat under that Trick Room. You know, we have 145 special attack, we go with a quiet nature, we drop everything down, and now we are incredibly slow, and we threaten a lot of damage with Shadow Ball, and we're going to get into Cursola's coverage later on in this video, so you can like Shadow Ball special attackers for big damage, hope a physical attacker hits you, sets Perish on them, that's going to put them on a timer, and then weird things are going to just kind of happen. It just kind of shows like a lot of weird conflict inside this Pokemon, because it just sacrifices and isn't as good as the Corsola. However, Cursola is slept on. This Pokemon can be a beast. I wanted to get all the Perish stuff out of the way, so I know people are going to talk about doubles, they're going to talk about combos, and then I think the biggest point is that, you know, you die or you die with its abilities, but we can still make this Pokemon work. So you have to be very specific about the Cursola. You need to go up against special attackers, and in that case, it is one of the best special tanks in the game. So what we can do is we can just look up Pokemon, go by special defense, and then Cursola is all the way down here. We can see like Pyukumuku has lower hit points with the same amount of special defense. Dusclops, lower hit points, same amount of special defense. Umbreon is just a way better overall tank than Cursola, but Cursola has access to some things that it doesn't get. And if you want just like the best special defense tank in the game, I'm putting my money on Mantine with that one. So we have like some weird things behind it, but overall still like very special tanky, that if your opponent only has special attackers, or if you're playing Cursola as a dedicated special wall, then you're going to be fine. And we have sustain, so it's not Corsola levels where you can use recover on demand. And since you're a special tank, it is kind of weird because strength sapping a special attacker isn't going to give you a crazy amount of health. So this is just kind of the set. Leftovers, you're healing up while being super tanky. Calm nature, special defense, hit point invested. This defense is here for a very specific reason, and we're going to get into that. Then we have like Calm Mind. So special attacker, you Calm Mind. Don't take, like now you just stop taking damage. And then you Strength Sap, Calm Mind, Strength Sap, Calm Mind, Giga Drain, and then that's why we need the Giga Drain here, because at some point, Strength Sap isn't going to work for sustain. And it only lowers their attacks. They're still hitting you with special attacks while you're trying to threaten Calm Mind. So against like super effective hits, that's not going to be too good. Since we are a ghost type Pokemon, Dark Ghost weakness, so not really too many super effectives to worry about, but we can still find some strong hits. So you need to set up against it, get that little sustain, the leftovers are going to really feel it, and then you just have +4, +5, +6 Shadow Ball on a 145 special attack, and this pops Pokemon. So you might be thinking, wait, why are we doing like a random 60 on defense? That's because people are very particular. Leftovers heals 116 of your max hit points, and whenever you're going for certain leftovers or black sludge, you want to make it to where the number is divisible by 16, so this puts you at 160 on your hit points. That way you're getting efficient healing. So I mean, only 7 more hit points, but no extra benefit from the leftovers. However, we're getting 8 more defense points, and this is going, well, actually technically it's just going to be 7 more, because like we're taking 7 off, putting 7 in, etc, etc. But the reason why you want to do it here is because this is going to be much more effective. That our defense is so low that we are gaining 10% of our defenses as opposed to like 5, actually less than 5% of our hit points. So this will make us tankier overall, and will also make leftovers more efficient. So that means we might survive like stray physical attacks, or like a physical attack into Strength Sap might work out, and then things kind of get weird from there. Because one thing you can do is eat a physical hit, Strength Sap the opponent, Perish Body activates, and then you just peace out. You don't want to be up against a physical attacker anyways. They're at -1, so you kind of get a safe-ish switch where you're taking less damage, especially if you get a prediction, bring in a Pokemon that resists it, and then the opponent is forced to switch out. So you can buy yourself a free turn at less cost by using the Cursola effectively. So think about it like yawn bait switch predictions on steroids when it comes to the Cursola. Like, okay, we need to turn our weakness into a strength in that way, and you can definitely accomplish it with the Strength Sap and niche survivability. So that's some pretty cool stuff right there. Also, we just have like straight offense attacking Cursola. You just take a hit and you try to blow up the opponent, because that is some really crazy coverage on this Pokemon, and that's what I mean when we like go through the moveset. So we got our Ghost, that's pretty straightforward. I guess like Mirror Coat kind of works, kind of doesn't. Problem is we have a low hit point pool, so even if a Pokemon is like kind of tanky or just naturally high hit points, if they deal damage to us, especially, we have high special defense, they're not going to do a lot. So Mirror Coat, you want to do like counter Mirror Coat for surprise one-shots. I don't think that's something that you need to be worrying about too much. But then when we get into the TMs, we have Giga Drain, we have Ice Beam down here, we have Psychic, we have Shadow Ball, we have Earth Power. There's also the Calm Mind that we've seen. We have water access moves. So we can just throw like a lot of weird things onto the opponent, and it means like 145 special attack with choice specs. If you think Dragapult does damage, this is well beyond Dragapult with better coverage. And you just land that super effective hit, or you go for the neutral Shadow Ball, and you are going to be a serious threat. So you can also get away with that, and ideally, you know, you can buy an extra turn with the Perish Body. So, like, trying to use the Perish Body in a direct offensive way against your Pokemon, or against your opponent, isn't going to work. Using it as a response to play around is how you do it. So you come in on special attacking Pokemon, you take a hit, you blow them up with a super effective hit, you score the KO, they bring in a physical response. If they KO you, then Perish Body activates. So it's not a direct 1+, but you knocked out a Pokemon, they knocked out your Cursola, and now they have a timer, which is eventually going to buy you a free turn. So if you can play around that eventual free turn or free KO, then that's going to be something really nice to have. And another thing about Cursola is that it can end a Pokemon's potential to sweep. That if they have a Corviknight that's setting up Iron Defense, or they're going Power Trip with Bulk Up or something, Power Trip makes contact. Cursola, you just bring it in on that Power Trip, and now that, at least that Corviknight is not going to 6-0 sweep you. That you can end a 6-0 sweep. Same thing for the Mimikyu. If Mimikyu is getting set up because you're a bad player, you use Stealth Rocks, they go for Swords Dance, you break their disguise, they get another Swords Dance, and they are ready to 6-0. Well, you bring in the Cursola, they have to make contact, Perish Body activates, hey, you just bought yourself, you know, like, you're going to still lose Pokemon. Cursola's going to go down, next Pokemon's going to go down, maybe you like force a Dynamax, tank a hit, use a Max Guard, but eventually the 6-0 sweeping threat, plus 6 shenanigans, will go off the field if it is a physical attacker. There are like Calm Mind sweepers, there are like tanky stall Pokemon and stuff, Pokemon using Earthquake or Dragon Darts on the Dragapult. You know, there's things that aren't going to be stopped by this, but a lot of like common setup Pokemon, like the Mimikyu, like the Corviknight, a few others as well, once they get those Swords Dance going, they have to make contact. So Cursola is going to end that. Like, you can at least use it as the ultimate sacrifice Pokemon to not get 6-0'd. I guess that's an option. If you're that much afraid and you have a Cursola on your team, then make sure you have like a Protect Pokemon or two, get those extra stalling turns on the Perish Body. They're either going to have to switch, or they lose that Pokemon in greed while trying to take as many as they can with them. So things get pretty crazy right there, but this is still damage. This is still an impactful Pokemon. Here's the Shadow Ball against a Dragapult. That's a lot of damage. So against a special attacker, you just take less damage, and on a super effective hit, you KO them, or you two-shot them while still taking less damage. Then the physical attacker comes in, and things look pretty good. And then on that special tankiness, let's pay attention to this, that even if we're not running dedicated special tank, we're going hit point special attack, we survive a Specs Shadow Ball from a Dragapult. Remember what I was saying earlier, if you think that Dragapult's scary, you got another thing coming? That's 100 special attack. That's 145 special attack. We have much more damage on the Cursola, and we can bulk out those scary hits. Actually, Dragapult isn't scary. Dragapult's like one of the worst Pokemon in Generation 8. We can see these matchups as they play out. And then I just want to show like an offensive special attacking matchup. This is going to be Choice Specs Jolteon. This is going to be the most damage that it does. So let's say it's already locked into the Thunderbolt. It's going to be pretty good for us. So this is like Calm Nature, max special defense, max hit points. We are just going to go insane, or again, you can just do like the weird things for the healing on the leftovers. I think that was 196, yeah. So we do something like that. We take like 45, 46%. We go +1 on the special defense. Well, now we're taking like 30%. So we can actually go +2 on the special defense, and we still have enough health to take another hit after leftovers. We Strength Sap, we get 76 health of our 160. So we're not quite getting half of our health back, but it doesn't matter at that point because we're actually taking less than that. And then we're at +2. What does +2 do? That Shadow Ball almost KOs. And if we are just going up against like a Dragapult or something, completely uninvested on the special attack, Shadow Ball has a high chance to one-hit KO the Dragapult if we are just running Tank Cursola. So that's why you cannot underestimate that special attacking damage on this Pokemon. Also, Giga Drain is still on the table, so that's significant. We are doing, how much is that? 80 to 95. So, I mean, we Strength Sap at -1. That's going to lose damage. That's going to lose healing. So then we're better off with the Giga Drain. We two-shot the Jolteon on Giga Drain, and then we get our health back. Pretty good. So, Thunderbolt is going to be dealing 34 to 42. Giga Drain is going to be healing 40 to 47. And we're also getting that extra 10 health from the leftovers. And then the next Pokemon that comes in, we're +2 on Calm Mind, and they're a fresh Pokemon to Strength Sap while we have reasonable health. So if it's like a very powerful physical attacker, that's going to kind of suck. But you want to use this Pokemon when your opponent doesn't have any more physical attackers. They just have like 2 or 3 special attackers left. You completely wall them. If they have stalling Pokemon, you out Calm Mind, and then you just start blowing them up before it even matters what they're going for. And I think that's something that Cursola is going to be really good for. And if it is a physical attacker, high chances they make contact. They're activating your Perish Body anyways. So you can shut down opponents with this moveset right here. That's why I opt for the Giga Drain over some of the other coverage, because you need it for setting up against special attackers, since special attackers aren't going to have a good hit point pool to Strength Sap from. So this Pokemon can roll you. You have maybe even lost to a Cursola yourself because they played around it and you're like, oh dang, I've only got 2 special attackers left. Oh no, I can't do anything to this Cursola. That's going to be the GG right there. And then again, it could just show up with damage as well. This under Trick Room can still be pretty scary. And then for the last moveset, I wanted to get fancy with Sweeping Cursola because I think you can make weak armor work in your favor. So let's talk about this wacky EV spread. Why do we have 172 precious effort values put into the speed of a 30 base speed Pokemon? Well, that's because after Weak Armor activates twice, which is going to be +4, which is going to be 3 times your speed, this outspeeds Dragapult at level 50. So just something that if Dragapult comes in as a response, after you've already gotten set up a bit on the weak armor, you are going to be able to just outspeed and then blow it up on a Shadow Ball. So that's going to be pretty cool right there. And then our defense is so pitifully low, we need to max it out. Everything else goes into the hit points for the durability, gives us good defensive durability, and then extra for that special defense. So that's going to add up, and it's going to be meaningful. That's why we have a Key Berry. So the idea is, we take a physical hit, we barely survive it, Weak Armor is going to activate, that brings us to -1, Key Berry activates, that puts us back at +0, and then we use Strength Sap against a physical attacker, because that's what activates the Weak Armor. And then, now they're at -1, we're at full health. And then we can keep playing that game until we are now fast. And then when we're fast and we're not taking too much damage from the opponent, that's when we can thread in a Calm Mind. So now we're going to be a faster than Dragapult, +1 on the 145 special attack using Shadow Balls that absolutely wreck people. So if we go back to this, add the +1, that's how we win games. And if we add the +2, that's how we win games even more. And it shows that, against a not super effective hit, at +2, we do find KOs against frail-ish kind of Pokemon. If it's an 80 hit point, 75 special defense Pokemon, we're going to be KOing that. And that's quite a few Pokemon. So let's go, and I haven't even thought about this one, but I'm like, let's bring up a random Pokemon, Charizard. Charizard, not at the +2, so I mean, maybe you knock off the EVs from hit points, and then you put them into the special attack, and then that's going to convert a lot of KOs, depending on like what Pokemon are around, depending on what the damage is. But at the same time, if you take out a physical attacker, they bring in a special attacker, that's how you get +2 on the Calm Mind. That's how you start KOing those kinds of Pokemon, and you will still have like weird things going on. So your defense is going to be pitifully low and super frail, so you need to make sure you have like the outspeeds off of that, since like every time you get hit, you're losing defense, but you're trying to like trade that for lowering their attack on the Strength Sap. So that first attack, like that physical attack setup is going to be weird, and then you can make use of it from there. I still think Giga Drain is an option here. I like the Scald for coverage. Shadow Ball plus Scald is pretty nice. We also have Shadow Ball Giga Drain, so you get that little bit of healing. Once you have like the +1 or +2 from Calm Mind, you survive an extra special attack, you get another Calm Mind, and now you sweep. So let's say they have like some kind of priority that they can use against you. Yeah, Sucker Punch and Shadow Sneak, those are going to be super effective hits, and if we're at any minus with the weak armor, we are going to get KO'd, but you can just play around that. Like, if they have Sucker Punch, use Strength Sap or Calm Mind, so then they have to go for an offensive move at some point. If you get the proper prediction, hit them with Shadow Ball, hit them with a Giga Drain, so you can turn the Sucker Punch around, and then with the Shadow Sneak, I don't think there's really anything that you can do about that. So that's just something you have to be aware of. Mimikyu kind of stops this, so get rid of Mimikyu, then try to set up this, and then try to have fun with it. But I think this can turn Cursola into an unstoppable sweeper. Like, what are you going to do when the 145 special attack Pokemon is one-shotting everyone and has the highest speed in the game? Because at +6, you have 4 times the speed, and not even like other +2 or certain Scarf Pokemon are going to be able to catch up to you. It's pretty wacky, so yeah, don't sleep on the Cursola. There are, like, that's another thing, the predictability. Is it just going to show up and try to nuke you? Is it going to try to bait out the Perish Body? Is it going to be a dedicated special tank? Or is it actually going to be an anti-physical weak armor setup? You aren't going to know, and then it hits the field, and then you stop having fun. And you can get swept, stalled, or wrecked by the Cursola. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.